choy, pak choy, or Chinese cabbage. Whatever variety you choose, this is a wonderful vegetable to plant in your garden. And today we're going to talk about how to do it from start to finish. This plant is a member of the cabbage family, along with Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cauliflower. And it is a really great vegetable because it goes all the way from zone 2 to 11. So it has many places that it will grow perfectly for you in your garden. Not only does it grow well in ground, but in raised garden beds and containers as well. You can even grow it hydroponically. It is a cold-loving plant, but because it's so tolerant of so many different zones, you can get 2 planting seasons out of this vegetable. You can plant it early spring and late fall. Even though they are really tolerant to different temperature ranges, there is one thing you want to keep in mind. Bok Choy, Pak Choi, or Chinese cabbage will tend to bolt, which means go to flower, if the temperatures are inconsistent. So you want to make sure that they're consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit or consistently just below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. These plants will thrive in full sun, but if your temperatures are getting a little on the warm side, you may want to move them or plant them in partial shade. This will extend your growing period. So I have chosen this area over here that's more in the partial shade for my second crop. I'm still in the spring, so I'm kind of pushing it. I know the shade will help me for extending my growing season for this second crop. So they're going to grow best in loose, well-draining soil that is enriched with compost. So we have some mature compost here that I'm simply going to add to the top layer of my already enriched soil, and that way I won't have to worry about fertilizing during growing season. Today I'm planting Chinese cabbage, pak choy, white stem. This is a slightly larger growing variety, but there's a multitude of varieties and their planting directions are basically all the same. So I'm going to even out my soil that I amended here, and I already have drip line established. This drip line is really going to help keep the water at the roots rather than on the plant. So I'm just going to make a little trough here with my finger because I only need to plant these seeds a 1/4 inch deep. And I want to start them at a 1/2 inch apart. And there's the seeds. Once they mature, I'm going to thin the sproutlings either 6 to 12 inches apart. I'm just going to lightly put the soil back on top. Remember, these are small seeds, so they only need to be planted a little bit deep. For continued harvest, you can plant in succession every 2 weeks. And that way, once you harvest your mature plants, you'll have a new plant next week to harvest again. These plants don't take much water, but you do ideally want to have at least 1 inch of water per week. A continuous moisture level will really aid in their growth and production. Once it's time to harvest, you can harvest either the outside leaves, which are going to be the larger and older leaves, by simply wiggling down to the base and lightly tearing, and there's a leaf. Or when it comes to the end of the season and you want to harvest the entire plant before letting it bolt, you can simply grab the base of the plant and twist it slightly to remove the whole plant. So let's talk about companion planting. Some companion plants that are going to benefit your bok choy are herbs. Just avoid dill because they don't get along well. Some other companion plants that are good are chamomile or nasturtium. Nasturtium. I can never say that flower right. Anyway, both of those plants are going to repel some pests that may bother your bok choy. You also want to avoid planting them near other brassicas such as cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, so forth, as they're going to be attracting the same pests that are going to bother your bok choy. Having a dense population of the same type of plant family is going to cause your chances of getting a pest infection to go up. You also want to avoid planting them next to tomatoes, as tomatoes can stunt their growth. If you know you're going to have a problem with pests on your bok choy, pak choy, or Chinese cabbage, then you want to use a row cover. This is a really light, semi-transparent fabric that you can simply place over your plants. Now, normally these will have stakes to help support them, but I'm just using this as an illustration. The reason why you can do this to your whole crop of this type of vegetable is because you don't need pollinators to create something that you can eat. The plant itself is what you eat. And that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Plant Life.